Greetings, everyone, and welcome to week 6 of Church History. I am here on location at the beautiful Church of the Nativity here in Huntsville, downtown Huntsville. And if you get a chance, go out, see different churches, see different denominations, and even different religions, and you can find beauty and respect for everything. And this is one of the most beautiful churches I've been in since I've been here in Huntsville. And this church was recommended by one of you. So if you have a suggestion or suggestions, please let me know. I'd love to, any excuse for me to get out and look at different things as a historian, as a man of God. I would love to learn from you. So please let me know and just shoot me a text, shoot me an email, whatever you'd like. So today, we've had an incredible journey so far through the ancient church, to the Middle Ages, to the Reformation, and to the ministry area. And now we enter a century of enormous transformation, the 1800s, a time when faith fueled action and Christians around the world stood up to make a difference. This week is all about the powerful intersection between Christianity and social change. So buckle up. We're about to explore revivals, reform, and global missions that reshape not just churches, but societies. First off, the evangelical revivalism and social reform. Let's start with the United States and Britain, where evangelical revivalism, words are difficult, swept across cities, towns, and even the remote countryside. One of the most influential revivalists of this period was Charles Finney. Now, Finney didn't just preach salvation, he preached transformation. His revival meetings were dynamic, emotional, and deeply committed to social justice. For Finney, conversion wasn't just the end, it was the beginning of a new life committed to reforming society. He championed abolition, education, and women's rights, urging believers to live out the gospel by confronting sin in society, not just in their hearts. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, a British politician named Wilberforce was doing something equally revolutionary. Wilberforce, motivated by deep Christian convictions, devoted his life to abolishing the slave trade. His now famous abolition speech, which please look up on your own, have a look at it. It is an amazing speech, which is also one of your readings for the week. So, reveals the passion of a man who believed that faith demanded justice. Thanks to his tireless efforts, Parliament passed the Slave Trade Act of 1807, which was a turning point in the global human rights history. Moving on to Christian ethics and abolition and temperance, the century also saw the birth of a powerful Christian-led movements that changed systemic evil: slavery, alcohol abuse, and inequality. The temperance movement, for example, began as a call for moral responsibility. Christians believed that alcohol was destroying families, corrupting communities, and distancing people from God. And they didn't just preach, they organized through societies, pamphlets, rallies, and even political activism. Christians, especially women, which was highly unheard of for this era, helped bring public morality into the spotlight. The movement would later feed into prohibition in the United States and more broadly help empower Christian civic engagement. Now, not all of these efforts were perfect, but they remind us of an important truth. Christianity in the 19th century was not passive. It was a force for action. Next, the global missionary movement. Now let's zoom out, way out to Africa and Asia, where Christian missionaries ventured into unfamiliar and often hostile environments to spread the gospel. One name that stands out here is David Livingstone. Livingstone wasn't just a missionary. He was a doctor, he was an explorer, and he was a tireless advocate for dignity of the African peoples. In chapter 1 of his writings, which you'll also read this week, we see his commitment to understanding and documenting the cultures he encountered. Livingstone's legacy is kind of complicated. While he denounced slavery and sought to bring medical care and education to African communities, communities, his work was also part of a larger colonial framework where Western missionaries often imposed European cultural norms. That tension leads us straight into this week's discussion 3. And remember, for this week's discussion 3, I made a mistake in it, and we can adjust. Just write a statement, and we'll move forward. Here's your discussion topic. To what extent did 19th century Christian revival and missionary movements represent spiritual transformation versus cultural imperialism? What a question, right? As you reflect, consider both the sincere spiritual passion of missionaries and reformers and the unintended consequences of exploring Western culture in the name of faith. Please understand, there is no single right answer. They say that in the future, hindsight's 20/20. This is your decision. You make your opinion and back it up with resources. So, your thoughtful responses will weigh both on religious motives and the global outcomes of the movement. And just be honest, back it with facts, and let us know what you think. Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder, your research paper 3, thesis and outline, is due this week. It is a 100-point assignment, and you have and it's a chance for you to organize your major research ideas before diving into the full paper later. Here's what I'm looking for: a clear, arguable thesis statement, a well-structured outline with proposed headings and support points, and a working bibliography in Chicago-Turabian format. Don't forget, I'm here to help. If you're stuck and unsure where to start, shoot me a message or schedule a quick check-in. Let's make sure your paper is off to a strong start. Now, for those of you some of you are having an issue or unsure the difference between Chicago and Turabian. Well, Chicago format is from the University of Chicago, where it was formed. Turabian is the name of the librarian who created it. So they're kind of the same. They are the same. Actually, they're the exact same thing. And please remember, in-text citations, we want you to put footnotes at the end of your paper and follow it up with your bibliography that gives the rest of the information for your footnotes. If there's any issues, please let me know. Make an argument and then defend it. All right, in closing, this week reminds us that faith has power beyond the pews. From revival tents to parliament halls, from African villages to little American towns, Christians in the 1800s reshaped the world not just through preaching, but through passionate and purposeful action. Some of that legacy is inspiring, some of it is challenging, but it all invites us to ask, what does it really mean to live out the gospel in our world? So, dive into the readings, engage in discussion, and take heart. You're part of a long, powerful tradition of believers who have wrestled with faith, justice, and culture. I'll see you in class, and always keep pressing forward. Have a blessed day.